Good evening and a very warm welcome to this week's edition of the Kenya Defence Forces Weekly Bulletin.
The Bulletin is your trusted source for weekly updates on defense activities, from operational highlights to the latest developments at the Ministry of Defense. I am Senior Sergeant Faith Mwangi.
And I am Senior Private Jeff Mwangi, and here are our highlights for tonight.
His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, opens Mombasa show with call for climate-smart farming.
Chief of the Defense Forces welcomes the new AFRICOM Commander to the Defense Headquarters.
Defense Principal Secretary and Vice Chief of the Defense Forces encourage accountability at Finance Workshop.
General Officer Commanding Eastern Command joins Family Day.
Kenyan troops receive United Nations Medals of Honor for distinguished service in the DRC.
And in sports, Chief of the Defense Forces Chess Championship 2025 held at the Ulinzi Complex in Lang'ata.
To start us off, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, officially opened the 2025 Mombasa International Show at the Jomo Kenyatta Showground in Mombasa County.
During the event, the Commander-in-Chief inspected a Guard of Honor mounted by the Kenya Navy. Organized annually by the Agricultural Society of Kenya, the show is a premier national platform for showcasing innovations, technologies, and investment opportunities across Kenya's agriculture, trade, and industrial sectors.
Mabibi na mabwana, sasa ni fursa yangu kuu kutangaza ufunguzi rasmi wa maonyesho ya kilimo ya kimataifa ya Mombasa ya mwaka wa 2025.
The new commander of the United States Africa Command, US AFRICOM, General Davin Anderson, paid an official visit to the defense headquarters in Nairobi, highlighting the growing defense cooperation between Kenya and the United States.
On arrival, General Anderson was accorded military honors, including a guard mounted by the Kenya Defence Forces, before being received by the Chief of the Defence Forces, General Charles Kahariri, at the defense headquarters. Our reporter has more on this.
The two commanders held extensive discussions centered on enhancing military partnerships in the areas of regional security, counter-terrorism, capacity building, professional military education, and joint operations. General Anderson commended Kenya for its steadfast role in promoting peace and stability across the Horn of Africa, particularly in countering violent extremism and supporting peacekeeping missions in the region. He noted that Kenya remains a critical partner for the United States in advancing shared security interests. On his part, General Kahariri welcomed the AFRICOM commander and reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to working closely with the United States and other partners to strengthen peace and security across the continent. He highlighted Kenya's ongoing defense modernization programs and the importance of sustained international partnerships in addressing evolving security threats. The visit not only reaffirmed the historic ties between the two militaries, but also signaled a renewed push for deeper strategic engagement in addressing emerging security challenges in Africa. At the same time, the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Charles Kahariri, hosted the Special Envoy on Technology, Ambassador Philip Thigo, at the Defense Headquarters, Nairobi. The meeting centered on cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and other emerging technologies, with the duo stressing the need for regular consultations to align national security with technological priorities. They explored joint capacity building programs between the Foreign Service Academy and the National Defense College to strengthen cooperation for personnel in international missions. Discussions also covered collaborative research, policy development, and support for regional and multilateral governance. The two further discussed partnership on the responsible use of AI in the military domain summit, including strategy and resource mobilization to back Kenya's bid to host the event.
On to matters financial accountability, the Principal Secretary for Defense, Dr. Patrick Mariru, and the Vice Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces presided over the opening as well as the closing session of a public finance management workshop at the National Military Command Center in Nairobi.
The workshop brought together heads of various departments within the Ministry of Defense and the Kenya Defense Forces, including finance, accounts, supply chain management, and personnel and logistics, to develop a clear roadmap for ensuring the ministry focuses its budget on priority areas while eliminating the possibility of pending bills.
Dr. Mariru, who serves as the ministry's accounting officer, underscored the need to safeguard taxpayers' money, noting that tight budgets demand careful planning. He stressed that soldiers' needs remain the top priority in the 2025-2026 budget implementation.
So it is for us to keep asking, how is it we become more effective? How is it that we become more efficient within the limited fiscal space as we achieve our objective?
On his part during the closing session, the Vice Chief of the Defense Forces, Lieutenant General John Omenda, commended participants and facilitators for meaningful engagement that he said will enhance efficiency, credibility, and value for money in the use of public resources. He urged stakeholders to prioritize needs, avoid overspending, and shun panic expenditure, noting that resources will always be limited.
So I urge you all to first reorganize your budget allocations from the less priority areas to meet the pressing needs in core expenditure areas.
The workshop also outlined guidelines on budgeting, planning, procurement, and the use of performance contracts to enhance accountability across departments. In other news, Dr. Patrick Mariru inspected the ongoing construction of housing units at Kenyatta Barracks in Gilgil and Lanet in Nakuru County. Dr. Mariru was satisfied with the progress of the projects that are part of the 3,069 units the Ministry of Defense is constructing across the country through a public-private partnership arrangement in Phase 1 of the Ministry's comprehensive housing program. Concurrently, Phase 2 of the housing initiative, which will deliver 10,000 single and married quarters, is currently underway in Embakasi, Kahawa, and Lang'ata Barracks in Nairobi County. The projects are part of sustained efforts by the Ministry of Defense to address the acute housing deficit facing the Kenya Defense Forces personnel and their families.
The Commander, Kenya Navy, Major General Paul Otieno, officially opened the inaugural Working Group 3 workshop under the Djibouti Code of Conduct JEDA Amendment in Mombasa County.
The four-day forum brought together regional and international partners to establish operational cooperation and coordination at sea.
Major General Otieno said that collaboration, interoperability, and mutual trust are vital in tackling threats within the Western Indian Ocean and beyond.
It reflects our shared recognition that maritime threats, whether piracy, smuggling, illegal fishing, environmental degradation, amongst others, are transnational in nature and require a unified, operationally focused response.
Ambassador Nikolai Rouge of Denmark, the Special Representative for Maritime Security, stressed the role of naval forces in supporting law enforcement and called for stronger cooperation between navies and authorities.
In combating international cross-border maritime threats, we need to stand together. Otherwise, we will not prevail. If we can't stand together, we will leave the playground to criminals, as they know how to work together.
The Djibouti Code of Conduct chairperson, Ms. Nefumbada Lindelani Mashudu of South Africa, urged members to embrace the 3 C's: coordination, collaboration, and cooperation to deliver tangible results in maritime security. Signatory states from across Africa, the Middle East, and the Indian Ocean were represented, alongside partners such as the International Maritime Organization, European Union Naval Force Atalanta, and United Nations agencies.
Turning our focus to faith and family, the General Officer commanding Eastern Command, Major General Luka Kuto, joined Christians at the Joint Command and Staff College for the Family Harvest Thanksgiving Mass at St. Augustine Catholic Church in Karen, Nairobi.
The celebration was led by Right Reverend Wallace Ng'ang'a, Bishop of the Military Ordinariate, who also toured the college as part of his familiarization visit.
In his homily, Bishop Ng'ang'a described family as God's masterpiece and a reflection of his love. He urged the faithful to support struggling families with compassion and humility, reminding them to help the needy selflessly. Major General Kuto encouraged the congregation to uphold family values, stressing that no future thrives without strong foundations built on faith, unity, and love. Other dignitaries present included the Commandant of the Joint Command and Staff College, Major General Eric Kinuthia, the Director of the International Peace Support Training Center, Major General Charles Mwazige, Ambassador Major General Retired Thomas Chepkuto, senior officers, service members, families, and guests.
For Kenya Defence Forces cadet intakes spanning 1979 to 1990 held reunion events across the country to celebrate friendship, service, and shared legacy.
Take a look.
Cadet Intake 11 of 1979, the leader intake, met at the Humanitarian Peace Support School in Embakasi under the theme Reunion and Thanksgiving. Some of the distinguished alumni in this intake include former Chief of the Defence Forces General Retired Robert Kibochi, General Retired Vincent Nundwe, Lieutenant General Retired Jonathan Rono, Ambassador Major General Retired Lucas Tumbo, and Lieutenant General Retired Johannes Mutui, who was an instructor then, among others. Cadet Intake 12 of 1980, under the theme Where It All Started, retraced their training journey by embarking on a safari ya Samburu, beginning at the National Defence University, Kenya. Some of the distinguished alumni include Ambassador Major General Retired George Owino, Major General Retired Patrick Amagola, and Major General Retired Joseph Kivunzi. Cadet Intake 14 of 1981 reunited at the International Peace Support Training Center in Karen with retired officers and leaders, including the former Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General, Lieutenant General Retired Mohammed Badi, and former Garissa Governor, His Excellency Ali Korane. Cadet Intake 25 of 1990 held their reunion at the same venue under the theme, Health is Wealth. Serving officers from this intake include the Director of Operations, Doctrine and Training at the Defence Headquarters, Major General Fred Leuria, General Officer Commanding Central Command, Major General John Koimo, and the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration and Finance at the National Defence University, Kenya, Major General Thomas Nganga. The intake members honoured fallen comrades and paid tribute to their instructors.
Beyond our borders, the 4th contingent of the Kenya Quick Reaction Force, serving under the United Nations Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, has been awarded United Nations Service Medals for outstanding performance during its one-year tour with the Force Intervention Brigade.
The medal parade at Camp Lieutenant Masulia in North Kivu was presided over by the Mission Force Commander, Lieutenant General Ulysses de Mesquita Gomez, who commended the Kenyan troops for professionalism, community engagement, and compassion in peacekeeping. Force Intervention Brigade Commander, Brigadier Richard Tobias Chagonapanja, lauded the contingent for its agility and reliability, noting it was ranked best within the brigade in the first quarter of 2025. Lieutenant Colonel Simon Seda, the Kenya Quick Reaction Force Commander, thanked the United Nations, local communities, and partners for their trust, saying the medals symbolize both service and sacrifice while honoring the Kenyan flag. The ceremony featured a parade, cultural performances, and displays by the Kenya Quick Reaction Force cultural and combative teams. Military observers and staff officers were also decorated.
And now a touch of humanity. Kenya Defence Forces troops from Goisusu Forward Operating Base, in collaboration with Mugie Conservancy, conducted a civil military cooperation outreach at Olmoran Parish Orphanage.
The event brought together parish leadership led by Father Giacomo and the Sisters of Olmoran Parish alongside representatives from Mugie Conservancy.
As part of the outreach, the soldiers engaged in mentorship sessions with the children, focusing on mental health while also conducting sanitation education for the girls. The team also carried out community service projects, including compound cleaning and the construction of a kitchen facility. To further foster interaction and teamwork, sports activities were organized between the troops and the children. The Kenya Defence Forces personnel also donated essential items, particularly sanitation supplies and stationery. In support of environmental conservation, tree planting exercises were conducted under the Environmental Soldier Program and in line with the Commander-in-Chief's National Tree Planting Initiative. The outreach reflects the Kenya Defence Forces' continued commitment under Operation Maliza Uhalifu to strengthen civil-military relations, support local communities, and contribute to national development.
We take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
Kenya Shipyards Limited is an accredited premier developer of ships and boats in the region. From shipbuilding to ship maintenance, we specialize in crafting vessels that are tailored to your specific needs. Our expertise extends to civil and modular construction, ensuring that every project is executed with precision and efficiency. We also engage in the construction of glass fiber reinforced plastic utility boats, which are light, durable, and eco-friendly maritime vessels. Our commitment to sustainability and innovation helps you navigate the challenges of the maritime sector. Our operations extend from the Mombasa Shipyard, strategically located near the Mombasa port, allowing local and international vessels to dock, the Kisumu Shipyard on the shores of Lake Victoria, and the Nairobi Workshop. Partner with us to transform your vision into reality. Kenya Shipyards Limited, catalyzing shipbuilding industry. For more information, visit our website www.kenyashipyards.co.ke or email us on info@kenyashipyards.co.ke. Find Kenya Shipyards on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Welcome back. The Kenya Defence Forces troops stationed at Kdf in Wajir South Sub-County convened a key leaders engagement at Kdf town, bringing together security agencies, administrative officials, and community leaders in a multi-agency initiative aimed at strengthening peace and stability in the region.
The meeting provided a platform for open dialogue between the local leaders and security personnel, reinforcing the importance of partnership in addressing emerging security challenges along the Kenya-Somalia border.
Officer commanding in charge highlighted security as a shared responsibility requiring joint efforts. He also reiterated that sustainable peace demands inclusivity and collaboration between government agencies and local population. The chairman of the Sub-County Security Committee further emphasized the need for cooperation and information sharing between locals and security agencies to sustain stability. Community representatives commended the dedication of the Kenya Defence Forces and other security agencies in safeguarding the area. They assured that they would join hands with security forces to foster unity, resilience, and peaceful coexistence.
Going green, Kenya Defence Forces personnel based at Mukutani under Operation Maliza Uhalifu participated in a tree planting exercise at the Kenya Forest Service Training Camp Karau in Mukutani Sub-County, Baringo County.
This initiative reflects the Kenya Defence Forces' continued commitment to supporting environmental sustainability while strengthening community relations and Operation Maliza Uhalifu.
The event was graced by Mr. Alex Lemakoko, the Chief Conservator of Forests, alongside stakeholders from Spread Truth Africa and Global Africa, as well as local leaders including Honorable Paul Lolgisoi, Area Member of County Assembly, and Honorable Caroline Lesaya, nominated Member of County Assembly. The exercise, which embraced the participation of the local community, saw a total of 6,000 trees planted. The Chief Conservator of Forests commended the multi-agency security team for not only fostering peace in the region, but also championing environmental conservation through extensive tree planting initiatives.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Defence Forces troops in training at Nanyuki brought smiles to children at Queensta Children's Home with a donation of food, clothing, and school supplies.
The visit, which is part of the Kenya Defence Forces Humanitarian Civic Assistance Program, pledged support for vulnerable communities while building goodwill.
Queensta Home, established in 2016, shelters orphan children aged 3 to 13 years and depends on well-wishers for survival. The Kenya Defence Forces team emphasized that the initiative was about giving back to the communities that host the troops during training. The soldiers spent the day with the children, sharing stories and games, creating an atmosphere of joy. Home Administrator
Mr. Abdikadir Duba thanked the Kenya Defence Forces for their generosity, noting the donation was a lifeline for sustaining the home and a reflection of true national service. The visit not only provided essential supplies, but also gave the children a sense of solidarity and hope.
Shifting gears to saving lives, Kenya Defence Forces personnel deployed in Mandera conducted a blood donation exercise for Mandera County Referral Hospital as part of the ongoing community engagement efforts.
The exercise is aimed at bridging gaps between security agencies and the local population.
The donated blood will significantly boost the hospital's blood bank, enhancing its capacity to handle medical emergencies, maternal cases, and trauma-related incidents, ultimately saving lives. This initiative reflects the Kenya Defence Forces' continued commitment to adopting a people-centric approach in securing the country and saving lives.
In our sports news tonight, the Chief of the Defence Forces Chess Tournament highlighted emerging talent within the Kenya Defence Forces as players showcased brilliance at Ulinzi Sports Complex in Lang'ata.
The tournament brought together officers, service members, and guests from Chess Kenya. It also sharpened critical thinking, patience, and strategy, skills that reflect military service.
In a speech read by Major General John Koimo, the Chief of the Defence Forces praised the fraternity for discipline and commitment. He said the event was not just about sports, but about mental agility and decision-making. He commended all involved and pledged continued support for sports across the services.
Chess is more than just a game. It is a battlefield of the mind, a discipline that mirrors the complexities of military strategy. Every move on the board demands foresight, patience, and adaptability.
Commander Kenya Army Lieutenant General David Keter also commended the event for promoting discipline, teamwork, and foresight. He encouraged participants to embrace sports as a unifying factor and welcomed the extensions to schools. Lieutenant Brian Onduso from the Kenya Air Force Laikipia Air Base won all 9 games to take the crown. Major Kantuli of the Kenya Army was second, while Warrant Officer Class 2 Karitie of the Kenya Air Force placed third. Second Lieutenant Chelagat of the Kenya Army Ordnance Corps was the top female player. Kenya Air Force was named Service Champion of the Year. The championships reaffirmed the Kenya Defence Forces' commitment to talent development and set the stage for greater participation in national and international chess events.
Kenya Air Force has celebrated a historic victory in the 2025 Chief of the Defence Forces Chess Tournament after being crowned overall service champions.
During a ceremony at Kenya Air Force headquarters in Nairobi, Commander Kenya Air Force Major General Bernard Waliaula received the tournament trophy from the winning team of 12 players under the patronage of Moi Air Base Commander Brigadier Herbert Wafula.
Kenya Air Force dominated the championship, clinching 7 of the top 10 awards out of 226 participants. Lieutenant Brian Onduso from Laikipia Air Base won the overall individual title. Major General Waliaula congratulated the team, praising chess as a tool for strategic thinking, critical analysis, and leadership growth.
I want to take this chance to congratulate all of you for turning up this morning, but more so to congratulate the chess team. And the game of chess is one that does not attract a lot of noise. It is done in silence with a lot of thinking. You stand out in your time of silence as you apply yourself in deep thinking.
He encouraged the service to sustain its momentum in future competitions.
The National Defence University Kenya held the second edition of its annual golf tournament at Nakuru Golf Club, attracting 238 golfers.
The event, now a flagship in the university's wellness program, promotes fitness, mental well-being, and esprit de corps between military and civilian participants.
With its strong showing, the annual National Defence University Kenya Golf Tournament continues to grow as a platform for sportsmanship, fitness, and lasting military-civilian connections.
Vice-Chancellor Lieutenant General David Tarus graced the occasion and took part in the tournament. Male and female golfers competed in categories such as longest drive, nearest to the pin, and guest winner, with special awards for Kenya Defence Forces Golf Association officers, veterans, seniors, and juniors. Lieutenant General Tarus thanked participants for their commitment and said the event strengthens friendship, sportsmanship, and collaboration between the military and civilians. He also appreciated the hosts, sponsors, and partners, urging them to continue supporting both sports and wider development programs. Nakuru Golf Club chairperson, Mr. Eric Ndiritu, praised the partnership with the university and encouraged more joint projects to benefit local communities. Brigadier Victor Kang'ethe, chairperson of the Kenya Defence Forces Golf Association, highlighted the large turnout and networking value of the tournament. He reaffirmed the Kenya Defence Forces' support for sports as a way of building unity across the services and civilian society.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to your feedback via our official social media platforms and your continued viewership next week on the Kenya Defence Forces Weekly Bulletin. I am Senior Sergeant Faith Mwai.
And I am Senior Private Jeff Mwangi. Goodbye.